Welcome back to the show, everyone, where I try to provide you with different Agile games, the rules, any templates you may need, and resources that'll be in the description, as well as awesome bookmarks that you can go and click on that are down here that will allow you to jump to different parts of the games. But also, there's a great retro at the end where you can absorb all the learnings, so please check that out. Today, we have a game called the Alphabetization game. This game, while I cannot understand the parallel to alphabetization, it still is an amazing game to learn primarily the difference between command and control and self-organizing teams. Thanks to my players, Steve, Aruna, Tim, another Tim. Their LinkedIn profiles will be in the description below. Please check them out. Please make sure to smash that like button. And without further ado, let's roll that intro and get to gaming. This is the alphabetization game. Alphabetization game. Yeah, that. So it's actually created by, I'm going to go over here real quick because I wrote it over here for some reason, Michael de la Maza, and can be found on the Miroverse as well. And so this is an excellent little game. I was asked recently, someone contacted me. Thankfully, people are reaching out. It's great. If you want to do so, please do in the comments below or hit me up on LinkedIn. But people are asking me about, hey, what game do I use for this? What game do I use for that? And so somebody reached out to me about the Agile mindset. So maybe I'll find some games to really show the different aspects of the Agile mindset. But this particular person was asking about, well, how do I get someone to really think about, working together versus working, management versus workers. And so this is a game that came to mind in my research and I wanted to cover just shortly. And it's the alphabetization game, lol. And the core principles of the Agile is that team members and managers need to work together. And this game helps your team practice two different control strategies in a simple setting. So the learning objective is to obviously understand how different control strategies impact your performance. Practice two control strategies in a simple setting. So we're going to have 2 rounds. Everyone is going to select an icon, and I'll bring everyone to that in a second. We're going to work on a different board than this. This is just kind of the example. So everyone is going to select an icon of these animals, and you're going to pick one boss. Everyone else is a team member. The boss sorts everyone by distance from the Salesforce Tower in San Francisco or another location that they choose, how far away they are from that tower. So, or that location. So only the boss can move icons. Only the team members, the team members can only speak if the boss talks to them. There are no shortcuts. So you cannot talk unless the boss talks to you after we start the game. And the boss is the only one who can move any icons or do anything. So at the end should look something like this. It doesn't mention putting sticky notes on, but we'll allow the boss to put sticky notes just so he can remember what's going on. We'll have some grace on the boss.
Oh, hold on. He, she, maybe?
Huh?
Stop it.
I nominate Aruna to be the boss because you are the boss.
Okay.
So James, before we move on, so what we're looking on so these should be in a line, from like.
This is supposedly an example. I'm not exactly sure because it's supposed to be in the distance from the sales tower. I'm not sure.
Salesforce.
What represents the Salesforce Tower?
Well, for us, it would be Reunion Tower.
It could be. Or we can just say, we can still say San Francisco.
Or this might be an example of round 2. It seems like it's an example of round 2. So I was just going to say, for the sake of this facilitation, that the top of the board, I'm just going to go ahead and put like a dot here. That's not a dot. Let's just put a sticky note. So this sticky is the tower or the location that you are choosing, however that is. And so you're going to the boss. It seems like it's Aruna. I hear Aruna's been elected. So Aruna, you are the boss. Promoted. So you are now going to round 1. Ask team members how the distance is, how far they are from whatever location you choose, and they're going to, and you have to figure this problem out. Please put a sticky note, just like Tim, the best student ever, to put by the icon of your choosing.
I'm a new puppy, so I went down.
I'm boycotting. There's no honey badger.
That bear kind of looks like a honey badger.
The honey badger doesn't care, obviously.
Exactly.
So,
That was nice. So, boss, you get to pick the location.
yeah, I'm thinking location and the distance too, right? Or do I?
Well, no. You
No.
just talked
The
about the
location.
location.
So you give us a waypoint, we'll Google it, and we'll all figure out how far away we are from it.
Let's use the San Francisco location, guys. And I'm going to ask.
No, don't use something closer. Like use DFW Airport or use downtown Dallas.
Yeah, okay. The game is going to start now. And Aruna's the boss. Only she can talk and no one else can talk, including me, because I put my name on here. So I'm gonna stop now. Go.
So the location is the DFW airport. Okay, everybody knows that. So let me ask you, Steve. How many miles are you away from the DFW airport?
I'm 35 miles east of DFW Airport. East and a little north.
35 miles east. East and north. So I would have to
East and
move.
a little bit north.
East what?
East and a little bit north.
Okay, I'm going to put you there. I'm going to move the DFW down a little bit. How I'm moving. Why is it
Oh.
locked? Have you locked this thing?
It's unlocked.
Can you move the location from me, James, down to the middle? A little bit to the middle. All right, that's fine. So Steven is moving his cursor around too much. All right, let's go with Tim Nolan. Tim, where do you live?
I'm in Garland, and I live 33 miles from DFW.
Garland.
So that
So
would
is
be.
Garland north or?
I think that would say due east.
Due east. Okay, so for some reason, I'm not able to move anything. Okay, well, okay. Due east. So are you? And did you tell me how far are you? Sorry.
33 miles.
33 miles.
Yes.
Okay, so you should be actually a little bit in from Steve. I'm gonna. Tim Dickey, where do you live relative to DFW?
43 or 42 miles
Wow.
to the north and slightly east of the
All of you
DFW
live-
airport.
So, okay, north and slightly east, further up. So I have to move some of you guys down. And you said 43 miles, right?
That is correct.
I think I've got that wrong, but whatever. So, okay, Tim, you go up here and yeah, you have to come down. And you said 43 miles. I want to picture the pig being lower. Thank you. All right. And then James, where do you live?
I live 29.4 miles away northeast from DFW.
What is the deal with all of you? I have to move this. And you're no longer, so I'm just going to move the damn location now. This is where it's meant to be. Okay.
All right.
All right.
So
That was very painful.
end of that round. All right. Round 2. All
Sort
right.
by number
so-
of books in your house.
Yes, everyone is a team member now. So we're not distinguishing between team members and managers. Everyone is a team member. Everyone gets a trophy. Team members can talk to each other now freely, hopefully nicely. Sort by the number of books in your house, and essentially we're going to try to accomplish the same task. So everyone pick a animal, and whenever I say go, we will go.
Wait.
You said sort by the number of books?
Sort by the number of books in your house.
That's going to be
Man,
an
I don't even,
estimation.
that, hundreds.
Okay, when do you go?
I cannot choose a sticky note apparently, so I'm trying to figure out what I'm
Good.
doing.
Are we going?
Go.
Anyone got more than 5,000? That's my estimate.
Whatever, dude.
I,
Oh, I'll give you a picture. I must have at least 3,000.
You know what? I don't even want to hear from you, Fraser.
I think that's what the green screen is hiding personally. All the books. I probably have 200, I think. We're starting now, by the way.
okay, so we just put the number down and
Put the number and then sort ourselves by number of books. I think I have 200 in the house.
Man, with homeschooling, we're
Oh yeah,
probably north
I
of.
totally have 5,000 books in my room, my house.
All right, so I have less than
I
10.
include the ones that are in boxes in the attic, because yeah, I totally have 5,000.
so is it decreasing or
Well,
increasing?
make sure to
on-
write it
What
down,
about-
Steve.
What
Yeah.
about digital books? Do those count?
No, we're
they're
talking about just books, physical books in the house. Good
Kind
question.
of
though.
like in the house. In the
No,
house.
they're on the cloud. They're on the cloud.
I have a cloud in my house too.
All right,
Oh,
so
I'm
10
sorry.
D.
Did I actually geek on everybody?
Yes, you did.
All right, so we know that Steve has
5,000.
5,000.
My
Oh, that's
goodness,
fine.
he has no furniture. He's
Third
he's
of
just on
I
books.
think we're done.
5,000.
Well,
4,000.
have you seen my bookshelf right here? I'm just saying.
We can't see your bookshelf yet.
No. Okay.
So
You're busy
obviously
on the board.
Wait, hold on.
that took
I'm-
significantly less time. I'm just gonna say that right now.
Yeah.
All right.
So our learnings from this game, besides the fact that Steve has an ungodly amount of books,
He has no furniture. He's got to be, I bet you that, take that stupid green thingy off and I want to see how many green books you have. It's probably like one of those hoarders' houses, okay? Tons of books
That's just
from the
one shelf.
'This
1960s.
is my game room.
All right, I'm done with that.
Oh,
Please
game
continue.
room? Really? Wait, hold on.
And
I'm gonna
It's
pan.
the-
bathroom.
Gonna
how many
pan.
D&D books were ever made?
Bookshelves over here. There's actually books behind me too.
Wait.
I don't
Okay.
think I'm underestimating. Okay, I literally have a bookshelf that is 20 feet long and 15 feet high, full of books. No, 25 feet long, 15 feet high, just books.
Wow.
Okay, you know what? Steve, thank you, because now I'm gonna be able to talk to my wife and explain to her.
And that's not including the books in the attic, which I've got like, okay, these are not my books by and large.
Next time on
Wow.
Agile Hoarding Confessions.
He has a hoarding problem. I'm just saying. I called it. I called it.
I
said
didn't
my
even need to
book.
say a word. Thank you,
Talking
Aruna.
about 500.
So,
It's
James,
my
other than-
house,
Yes.
it's
What did we
about
learn other than
1,000.
Steve's got way
Yeah,
more books
other than
Okay.
so I learned for me that like it was very painful for for us to be quiet was one of my learnings.
Yeah.
Secondly, the time it took us, although I didn't like write them down, it was like took about 2.5 minutes or so. You'll be able to see on the video. It's going to be in the rounds in the description if everyone wants to know the exact times, because I have it recorded. But took significantly less time, and I feel like it felt better. Like, I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if we could self-organize with each other and communicate and kind of get management out of it, we get our jobs.
However,
Yeah.
I will say that it wasn't an apples to apples exercise, right? Had we done the same DFW relative to DFW mapping, that would have been a real apples to apples exercise.
Well, I think we already knew the answer though, so I think maybe we could have selected a different location, but I think it had to be different because we had to organize over a different thing like books.
Right. That's
we-
true too.
We had to do something completely different.
One thing I did want to point out, and this goes back to your apples to apples theme. I think that had we had the ability to communicate, and specifically for refinement of distance versus location, we would have found out that based on the city in which we reside, that some of Aruna's placement would have been different as far as their sequencing. Because if I'm not mistaken, Steve, you're like McKinney Allen area,
Kenny,
right?
yeah. So I'm nowhere near you.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm way up in Prosper, north of Frisco.
Yeah.
So,
It was
so,
based on distance. I didn't, since for the technical purposes of what the game is deciding. I'm not sure that direction was involved as much, but
The
it was
point,
definitely the point was distance.
the
yeah,
point is the errors. I couldn't correct my errors. I could have said, "There's Tim is nowhere near me. Thank God."
So, but you couldn't say that
Absolutely,
because
yes.
you
Yes,
couldn't
that's a very
correct the
good
boss.
point. Sorry, but that's a very good point, right? I mean, the
Yep.
fact that only I was allowed to speak, basically the accuracy and the quality of that mapping depended on the kind of questions I asked. So basically, if there was any gaps, it was never going to be addressed because I only knew to ask what I knew.
Mhm.
Versus had we, the second round, we would have asked a lot more intelligent questions, frankly, that would have impacted the quality of the outcome.
Yeah, like what is 4,000 divided by 2?
Yeah, no. Back to James.
Anyways,
Now, have y'all ever played 60 Paces in person? I think this is a digital version of that. Where you have a manager telling an employee which paces to take, and they try to count
Oh,
interest.
yeah. That was my
And then
first
the, and
Scrum
then the
Master
employee
class.
and then the employee can choose whatever they want, and usually that's a lot higher. I
Right,
think that's the same effect we get here. If you let the employees do the job that they're paid to do, they're good at it, and they'll be better at it instead of being
right.
told what to do.
We could also speak to the level of frustration that everybody had watching me navigate and map and like not being able to speak, right? There's a certain amount of discontent in the team when
Mhm.
they're only allowed to speak when spoken to.
No,
So,
I was totally disengaged. As soon as I did my thing, I was done. So it was awesome.
right.
I was on YouTube.
Well, that's Steve. Everybody else was
Yeah.
not Steve. Hopefully you felt
And
discontent.
I think that's you might think that way about management. Like, I can do that
Yes,
job better than she
that's
can. Why
that's
is this?
right.
Yeah.
But that's the
And you,
takeaway, right? That's the takeaway. Yeah.
well,
All
for
right.
me,
Did we salvage this for you, James? Sorry.
yes, I was just I had one last thing, and so this is where for me, Aruna, you've spoken on this before about titles and how they interfere with just accomplishing tasks, and you can throw your weight around and you can measure things by that sometimes, or you can, oh well, I need to wait for this person's answer sometimes, instead of really being a human being that is in front of a problem, being able to figure it out, versus, oh well, I have to wait for the manager to ask me. I have to wait for the manager to tell me to do something because I don't
Right.
want to get my hand slapped, versus the
Right.
mentality
Asking
of,
for permission.
yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
So anyone else have any thoughts around that, or
It's very
yeah,
important to understand the power differential. I mean, the title manager means no one's going to talk to you, honestly. I mean, that's
What,
what it means, right?
what did
I
you
mean,
say,
it's very
Steve? The
rare.
title manager, what?
The title manager means that no one's going to talk to you honestly. No one below is going to talk to you honestly. And so that's a
Mhm.
huge barrier to getting work done.
yeah. And I would say that unless you create a culture of psychological safety where it is a-okay to object and to do it vigorously and in a respectful fashion. I mean, because I think that creating that type of culture along with radical candor, it can only improve the outcome for the entire team. But yeah, and it goes back to the whole centers of gravity, and who's got more weight when they walk in the room, the whole hippo thing. So
Mm.
yeah. And so obviously having a flatter organization, making it to where you are empowering people and doing everything you can to make sure people have that safety to feel empowered is great. So that's why I feel like this game answered that person's question by hey, the agile mindset of the one they were looking for was, is it, having that management structure of, waiting on the boss, and versus having everyone really be a team, and what that looks like. And I feel like this game, in the retrospective, you can get a lot more out of that. I feel like the game doesn't illustrate it quite as well as I want it to, and I feel like I'm missing some directions in the game that we kind of had to fight through a little bit. But besides
Yeah,
that, I feel like we had a great. This is the experience that I feel like can really still show people.
this is
So.
also, I mean, I really think this game does speak to quality. There's the, the crowd wisdom that was leaned on because we were all talking to each other. There's a level of wisdom of the crowd sort of thing happening there, which impacted the quality of the product. I really believe that when you leave it to one person making all the decisions, the quality of the product hinges on the level of knowledge they have. If
Mhm.
only one's making all the decisions. That's an important takeaway from this game as well, besides the whole teaming part of it.
So Aruna, I've got an interesting question regarding that. And this is one of those things that I wrestle with. How many people are too many people? I mean, if we have too many cooks in the kitchen, we're not necessarily going to get a product out of the kitchen that the customer values.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of diminishing return in all of this.
But
At the
there's
numbers
also
where we're at, I think we're good, but you scale it too far and then you lose fidelity.
I agree, but I think the law of the two pizzas or a single pizza, whichever one is, I think it's one large pizza or two medium pizzas. That's the group size that beyond that, the conversation, the diminishing marginal returns happens, right, at that point. But I do think I just want to bring this out simply because we have this role of a product owner who becomes this person who makes choices on their backlog. And oftentimes, in a lot of the situations, they have no one to collaborate with, and they're making these choices. A good product owner is somebody who's getting feedback from the team, getting feedback from multiple places, making which is going to impact the quality of the backlog. For me, this game really speaks to that, the way we did it, much less than everything else that we did.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, it's as if the boss in the first game said to the people, arrange yourselves.
Right.
I mean, if the rules of the game allowed it, the easiest thing to do
Arrange yourselves.
would have
Yeah.
been,
Yeah.
okay, go arrange yourselves in the best way.
Right. And figure out your distance. Yeah.
Here's the objective, right? Arrange yourselves as around DFW Airport. Go.
Mm.
You don't need anything more than that, right?
Yeah. See, in James, this speaks to the intent of the game, which is there's a lot of different ways to tweak an outcome if you start going down this path that Aruna and Steve are suggesting. So this is one of those where I think that there's untapped value in discussing it in a different context of, hey, you know what, your organization is attempting to transform its cultural context. What can you do based on your title as manager or boss to enable collaboration and not necessarily break the norms at the wrong time when the organization isn't prepared for that?
Like, this is the person again was asking about, in terms of the agile mindset, from going from command and control and then going away from command and control to more everyone having decentralized leadership and being able to,
leaders intent.
Leaders, yeah.
This game is perfect for that.
Yeah, I thought Steve made a very good point. Steve said, right minute I gave my answer, I disengaged. If you want more ownership in the product, bring it to the people who make let the people do the work, because then they have higher ownership. The fact that he said, okay, if you're asking me, it's this, and then I don't really care what the outcome is. Right. That is a perfect example of what this game did, right? Which is, that's
it's not his job.
Yeah.
It was your job.
Not my job, man.
Yeah.
Aruna,
no, it wasn't.
You were totally responsible for the outcome. I had nothing.
I was.
I'm done.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think that was a good takeaway too.
So, did you learn anything about command and control, or the difference between that and self-organizing teams, or did you get an entirely different learning out of the game? Have you experienced this with your teams? Did you learn something else? Did someone else in your teams have a great comment that you want to put down in the comments below? Either way, make sure you're sharing with the community what you're learning, good or bad experiences you've had. At least we can laugh together if we've had bad experiences. But if you got value out of this, please make sure to smash that like button. And if you are interested, there are links in the description below to support the channel. See you next video and keep on learning.